Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, an exciting way to start the round. Glasgow going head-to-head up against the Bulls. Two sides that normally find themselves right at the top of the table by the end of the season. And this year, I don't think it's going to be much difference. The Bulls, they've had a bit of an up and down start to the season, but overall sitting not too badly in the standings. Glasgow, they find themselves in that same boat. Glasgow sitting there. And where are they? They are third on the 16 points. And then the Bulls, they've just suffered that one loss with the 14 points already in this competition. But one of these two sides, they should be able to get themselves a nice win here. Glasgow come in as the favourites, but the Bulls do enjoy an underdog victory every once in a while. Looking through at the starting sides, you'll notice something a little bit different. They're actually behind me on this stream. We're going to see how this runs and see whether or not it goes smoothly. But in the starting lineup, first of all for the Bulls, they are going to be as follows: Gerhard, Stennekamp in the front row alongside Johan Grobbelaar and Mornay Smith. So overall a pretty strong starting three. And at the front row department, Kobus Wiese and Ruan Nokia. Now I feel like Ruan Nokia will completely change this Bulls side. At times throughout their last couple of contests, it's almost seemed like they've lacked a little bit of leadership. Whereas having him back in the mix, do think benefits them very much. Ludwig in the number 6 jersey alongside Marcel Kutsia is at 6. Then it does go Ludwig and then Rudolph as that number 8. He was sensational throughout the Carling Curry Cup competition, so I don't see it being any different for this game. Up against the Warriors. And Brospapier, Keegan Johannes as that 19 combination. Trevino Jacobs in the midfield alongside Jan Sorfentine. Now, I think there was a late change in that department. In fact, for that midfield combination, I believe now it is Harold Foster and David Creel with Trevino Jacobs actually out on the wing. David Creel, he will be slotting in as that 13. Sebastian Clerc out on the right and Willie LaRue at number 15. Tell you what, that was one of the worst read-throughs of a lineup I think I have ever done. I got hit with confusion about 4 times, but it is early in the morning here in New Zealand, so the brain will slowly wake up as we go. Jamie Bhatia, Johnny Matthews, and Murphy Walker will be the front row for Glasgow here. Matt Williamson and Scott Cummings in the locking duo with Gregor Brown, Matt Fagerson, and Jack Dempsey slotting in as that number 8 option. In terms of the 9-10, this is where it can be quite dangerous for Glasgow because they have got George Horn and they've also got Jack Dempsey. Oh, sorry, not Jack Dempsey. They've got Adam Hastings as that number 10. Now, George Horn, he is the type of player that if he is a good game, Glasgow win. That is pretty much the gist of it. If he plays well, they're going to be doing very well and probably getting themselves a bonus point from this contest. As well, Kyle Rowe is out on the left wing. Sione Tuipulotu and Stafford McDowell, they are in the midfield with Kyle Stain and also Josh Mackay slotting in as that number 15. We have got there, good morning, says Fortnite NBA, welcome in, hope you're doing extremely well. How's it, Hamish, says Yanko, welcome in. And Glasgow got this, hi Hamish, hi all, says Wild Lobster. Who you got winning, Canterbury or Otago? I think that Canterbury losing Sam Derry and George Bell may be just a little bit too much of a hit for the side, although they are still at home, so they're going to be a tough team to beat. And we're actually going to get the opportunity to cover that game as long as cricket is finished early enough. I'm going to schedule the stream beforehand and hope for the best that I'm going to be back in time for the kickoff. We have got, how are you, Hamish? Did you hear what happened to Vessels of the Springboks? I did. It's been the big talk of the town all throughout this week. In terms of Jan-Hendrik Wessels receiving the ban, of course, he is not in the starting lineup or reserves for this Bulls side. How's it, Hamish? Craig from St. Francis Bay, welcome in. And also, hi, Hamish and all. And also, apparently, Jan-Hendrik Wessels got banned for 9 games. He did? Yeah. It's a situation and a half. And I'm sure it's going to get brought up quite a bit throughout this live stream as well. And Go the Bulls says Jan Lu there. And also, we have got there, come on, the Bulls need to smash these Warriors. And also, what cricket are you watching? Not watching cricket, but actually playing cricket. So we have got a T20 starting at around 1 p.m. New Zealand time. Normally we'd be done by 3:30, 4 o'clock, but that's the tricky part, is whether or not we're actually going to be back in time for the kickoff. I'm hoping to. I may have to leave slightly early, which may not put me in the popular books, but we'll see what happens. And at that regard, looking through at the benches for these two sides, some really good talent off of both benches, but a massive return for the Bulls in that department with Kutle Arnsa finally back. And he is also selected in that Springbok squad. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not he can really just come back and show what he was doing before his injury. Of course, it is easier said than done for a guy to get injured for a long period of time and then be expected to play at his absolute best as soon as you return. But if there's anyone that can do it, it would be someone with the strike rate of Gudliardsson. Now, looking through at recent games for these two sides, first of all, for the Bulls, they were able to beat Leinster on home soil. It was a massive win for their side. Then there was that game up against Ulster. And I'll be honest, it didn't really look that good for the Bulls. 28 points to 7, but then they pulled off a great win over Connacht just last week. They had to as well just to get that momentum back in the swing of things. So that Ospreys game at this point in time, you call it an outlier for what has been overall a pretty decent kind of start to the URC. For the Bulls, for Glasgow, they had the loss to Benetton, of course not quite the start that they would have been after, yet then they got themselves that 49-0 victory over the Dragons, where they just kept on scoring all throughout that contest. 42 points to 17, the most recent game that was up against the Ospreys in last week's round. And speaking of last week's round, these are all the matches that we did see take place. There were a couple one-sided affairs, mainly that first match between Edinburgh and Benetton. But aside from that, some pretty close games yet again. A couple losses for South African sides, which I don't think was expected. Definitely that Sharks versus Ulster match. Munster getting a massive win over Leinster. So it was almost the round in some regards of the occasional upset, but overall a lot of the victories, they won by a decent margin. You know, there wasn't anything too crazy there, but I think that Leinster, Munster, Sharks, Ulster, those few hours of URC rugby were very confusing. I think had a lot of people stumped overall as well. But we have got there, what time is the game? The game is kicking off in only around 8 minutes' time. We have got there batter or bowler, says Wild Lobster. Probably more batter. I do a lot of bowling in the nets, but I never get to bowl during a game. They kind of just use me as a keep on bowling to everyone outside of a game, and then just on a Saturday I don't get the ball. But I did bowl one person pretty badly at practice, but that probably won't mean that I get a bowl. Unfortunately, we have got there, is this game on Sky Go? It is not. It's on URC TV as the option for being able to watch this one. And we have got there, is it true of Vessels? You'll have to ask him. I wasn't in that ruck. I didn't have my scrotum grabbed. So, or not by him anyway. Haha, no, by no one. Very lonely. But, no, I don't know what's going on in that situation. Like they said that they couldn't find a decent angle to be able to access it. But obviously something's happened, or else it's just a really weird reaction. Like, you don't go around just punching a guy on the breakdown unless he's done something to you, you would think. But the fact that they completely took away the Connacht guy's suspension or any chance of him getting suspended means that obviously they've got enough proof that something happened. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. This game is going to break a few Bulls supporters' ears, says Jan. And also we have got there also, so it's he said, little bit. Because I haven't actually, I'll be honest, I haven't seen a huge amount of Jan Hendrik Vessel's reaction to it as of yet. The coach told me to grab the ball, says Big Rig. Yeah, just not the two of them. In that scenario, I will also ask, what do you guys think of the new layout for a second? Just because I do realise that it is quite different. It's something that we can use on some streams, probably not all of them for a start, but is it easier having it like this, or do you prefer the old school classic layout that we did have for a good kind of 5 years? I will mention every other game in terms of outside of the URC will probably be back to the regular setup with the pop-ups on the side, just like we saw for a little bit earlier on. I have a feeling the game is going to be the undoing of the Bulls. The thing is, they come in as underdogs, and they are actually expected to lose this game up against Glasgow because Glasgow, when they get flowing, they are a very well-oiled side. The same can be said about the Bulls. I think that some people underestimate what we've seen from this Bulls side at time when it's Japan versus Australia. That one's kicking off at 6:50 New Zealand time. This is going to be a tight game. I absolutely hope so. I hope it's going to be match of the weekend. It's always great to have a Saturday morning game that really just kicks in the weekend. When is Rasi saying his team to play Saturday? He'll probably announce it on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I would say. I don't think he'll go massively late because it is up against Japan, so they'll feel pretty confident. Plus, with the guys that he's released into the URC to play it, it's almost confirming who's going to play in that Japanese game anyway. And what is your prediction? Do you think my Bulls have a chance? Says LFG. I was actually talking to someone about this earlier. and they were a Bulls supporter. And I said, the only way that the Bulls win is if I say that Glasgow will win because I'm terrible at predictions. So I'm going to say Glasgow by 7, and we'll see what that does. Whether or not that means that it reverses and the Bulls win. I think the most likely is Glasgow for a narrow win, but you just never know. We have got I feel bad for anyone watching on mobile. It's quite small, isn't it? That was the one thing that I was thinking about. There are adjustments that can be made. But then I guess as long as it's, it will depend on the scoreboard. Do, of course, give me updates on how big the scoreboard is in terms of if you can actually read it. Like I can see already on the PC screen that it is quite small. So, it's all a learning curve. I would say hopefully we can win. Come on the Bulls. Bulls by 3. How good is Australia team to take on Japan? They've gone with a bit of a mix in that Australian lineup. But overall, not a bad looking side. And, I think it will be a little bit more competitive than Australia A versus the Japan XV. We have got there, since Glasgow doesn't have any South African front rowers, a Bulls should at least have the scrums in the bag, says Yanko. And also stand behind the Bulls, truly Bulls, says Kamenik. And there as well. Or Kamenik, hopefully I've said that correctly. An easy win for Glasgow, says Martin. And there as well, but both sides just about to make their way out onto the field. Johnny Matthews, he is certainly one to keep an eye out for the Glasgow Warriors. He has been scoring time and time again. My wife is asleep. I'm watching this game on Blast Supersonic Soundbar at Blast, lads. Says Damon. That sounds like you're going to get yourself in trouble in the very near future, I would say. But that's probably going to be a funny situation. We have there, good evening / morning, says Fletcher. Welcome in, Fletcher. I hope you're doing extremely well. If you are excited for this weekend of rugby that is coming up, it is going to be a hectic, I would say about 24 hours or so, ladies and gents. We have got this stream. Then I have got cricket that I am playing in. Then coming home for the NPC final. Then from there, doing Australia versus Japan. Then I've got a couple hours off. And then we've got 3 URC games back to back to back. And then also after that, we have got a collaboration with someone that we haven't collaborated with before. I believe it's going to be going up on his channel in the next few days. So that's very cryptic. But yeah, got a message earlier on in the week and we're going to get something going after a very sleep-deprived URC weekend for myself. But that's normally when I'm at my chattiest, so it's going to be a tough one for him because I'm just going to be yapping flat out. Do the URC take a break till end of November? Pretty much. They've got, 1 second, we'll go like this. These are the next games, so it's right at the end of November that we do see the sides playing, and then they do pretty much play right through to Christmas, whether it's this competition or the Champions Cup. But yeah, so next game for Glasgow is in around 35 days' time now. That is up against the Scarlets, whereas the Bulls and the Lions, they are going to be doing those South African derbies that we do normally see, which everyone does thoroughly enjoy as well. But the two sides ready to go out of the tunnel. Get us ready for this match. I'm very excited about this game. I feel like it's going to be one of those matches that you just have to keep an eye on. Glasgow versus the Bulls away from home as well for this Bulls side can be pretty tricky. We have got there, the Bulls won't win, says Martin. We have got there, Mr. Beast. It is not Mr. Beast, no. I have a feeling. We get it done, says Ano there. Yeah, I see Glasgow by 7. So we'll wait to see whether or not I did accidentally jinx the Glasgow Warriors side. But you just look through at the starting lineup for the Bulls, and there is a huge amount of talent in this team. And you look at, someone like an experienced veteran of Villy LaRue. He should be able to get something going. The screen is blurry, says Mohadin. Am I blurry, or is it just the background is blurry for you, Mohadin? Do let me know. But the Glasgow Warriors making their way out onto the field with some smoke machines going off as well. The NBC final is at 4:05 to remind you, Hamish. Yeah, so I'm hoping to be home by about by 3:55. That's my goal. I might get like half a second where I do get to get a drink, and then I'll be straight into the commentary for the next 2 matches. The background says Mohadin. It was one of my slight concerns whether or not it would end up being, depending on, of course, the quality that you are watching on, it may make it tricky. Are you on a mobile device, Mohadin, or are you on PC or something? Any try scorers tonight for the Bunnings? Someone at cricket was telling me about a multi that they place where they have Christian Leo Willie and also Lucas Casey. So they've got 2 Otago loose forwards, but they still think Canterbury are going to win, which was quite an interesting choice. But no, there's a lot of great options in that match. Just about to kick off though. Background looks fine on my laptop. Says young go, but the Glasgow Warriors get us underway. Now the big question is the scoreboard going to behave itself and start updating when this match gets underway? I've got both my fingers crossed. Within the next minute or so, we will know. Our line-out should be better with the best lock in South Africa, Rua Nokia back. He's just a massive talent and also just adds a lot of, just composure and efficiency to that fullback of the Bulls. We have good there, morning, Hamish and all. I'll pick the Bulls, but hopefully a top game. That is quite small, isn't it? Might have to try and adjust that. England versus Australia game will be good next week. Says Fortnite NBA now going off to the right-hand side. Evening for the Bulls. Says Jimbo there. And cheers, guys. Chat later. About to blast this game. Says Damon. Currently on the halfway line. The Glasgow Warriors in possession. Jack Dempsey passing across to Adam Hastings. Goes with a short ball on the inside to Stafford McDowell. Is Pollard playing? He is not. He is away from this game, but they have got Kurtley Arendse making his way off the bench already. Breaking the line. Scott Cummins. Support run from George Horn. Something that he does so well as he's dragged down 5 metres out from the line. And already we are seeing the Glasgow Warriors at a great position on the field. Rush defence from the Bulls. Trying to shut it down, but Dempsey trying to cut back in on the angle. We've got Jimbo in the chat from Kerr. Welcome in, Kerr. Hope you're doing extremely well. I do know you popped in for a stream not too long ago, but of course this is your side and they already look like they're off to a great start. Kyle Stain, I jinxed that, little knock on. Okay, how's it going, buddy, says Jimbo there. We have there, hi Hamish, we had the same gift. As soon as we got back side, it starts going downhill fast, so go Glasgow. And also, is he playing in the Springboks? I believe he will be somewhere amongst that Springboks environment, well, at least maybe in the lineup, but they haven't confirmed anything yet in terms of their side. And Philly LaRue is great, and he makes mistakes at crucial times. I hope tonight he gets an 8.5 out of 10 game, says Xander. And also late here, dark and cool Cape Town, says Ruth. Oh, okay, they're actually going to go back for the high tackle on George Horn. Now, don't get me wrong, it did look high. Oh, and they've just said there, that is what the TMO is for. Right, I'm going to go bigger, and we're going to go like that. Did that help? Kind of. It's a bit bigger. And Burst, I've been non-stop with work the last few months, says Kerr. Yeah, we weren't getting worried about you at one point. We were wondering whether or not you had gone somewhere overseas and just kept on drifting. But no, it is great to have you back. And hopefully you get some sort of break heading into the Christmas period, although that's probably when you're going to be just as busy, if not busier. Great break by the Warriors. Kerr influence in the game already, says Jimbo. And they have decided to kick for the corner here, the Glasgow Warriors, rather than going for the 7 points. About 10 metres out from the line, Johnny Matthews, a man that somehow just keeps on getting avoided by the Scottish international team. He's been one of the most clinical players throughout the URC, wearing that number 2 jersey for quite some time. Now popping it across to Sione Tuipulotu. They got 20 metres out from the line, George Horn, going to the right-hand side. So they decided not to take the 3. And that's an intriguing choice because now they kind of have to score, or else you get yourself in a little bit of trouble and have points that you should have been able to already get. But here comes the backline again for Glasgow. The Bulls hardly touching this ball at this stage of the match. Hastings taking contact. Hey, we're back. How's everyone doing? I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it didn't like me. They're about 5 metres out from the line at the moment. The Glasgow Warriors. And Tuipulotu does score the try for Glasgow. That was the worst possible time for that to happen. What we're going to do is just for now, because I'm not sure whether or not it is background related or Wi-Fi related, I'm just going to go like this. And we're going to go back to the original one just for the rest of this one, and hopefully it doesn't affect it too much. So we'll change our background. We'll go with Murrayfield, even though I know this game isn't at Murrayfield, but we'll go like that. There we go. But yeah, that was interesting. That kind of went dark for a long. your super low res. Yeah, hopefully it kicks in very soon. We have got there Glasgow 43, Bulls 26, but they have managed to score there. The Glasgow Warriors, Sione Tuipulotu turning around in the tackle. Manages to get himself the try. Getting back to our old custom food conversations, Hamish, would you rather have a hot dog or a traditional Borivos roll? I'd go a hot dog. I don't mind a good hot dog. 2003 internet, Hamish says Big Rig. Shades of Matt Hardy version 1. That kick has gone over from the Glasgow Warriors, now making the score 7-0 in their favour. I do see that I've still got the 1 bar, so hopefully it's going to kick in at some stage. You look a bit blurry. I certainly am, yes. And Hamish, you froze, says Roof. I did. But I'm glad that some of you guys did stick around. It did freeze for a good, half a minute or so. I want to try and just blame the Wi-Fi. I don't think it was the new layout, or at least I hope it wasn't. But now kicked off by the Bulls. We are back underway here. Glasgow Warriors already getting off to a great start in this contest with Dempsey trying to spin around. Currently Horn trying to milk that penalty up against Johan Rovela. Glasgow scored so hard it broke Hamish's internet. See, it's Big Rig. Back across to the right-hand side. Can't believe you went hot dog, Hamish. Well, I haven't had the other one, so I feel like it's the perfect choice, isn't it? It's like saying, would you rather have hot chips or have this flavour of chip that you've never had before that you don't know if you'll like? I feel like you've got to go with the one that you know. Again, the Wi-Fi is moving as bad as the Bulls' defence. Says Hayno there. I think before the glitch, you had a little delay too. And now it's more synced up with what I'm seeing on the URC TV, says Yanko. Currently, it is going to be the line-out chance for the Vodacom Bulls. Johan Rovela throwing this ball in nicely. On off to the left-hand side now, Keegan Johannes playing in that number 10 jersey. I think Springbok head coach is going to get in trouble for the announcements on Twitter. Says Ethan Hooker. There is a chance, although I think at this stage, World Rugby's just decided Russie can just use his X account for what he wants. Trevino Jacobs with a break down the wing. Offload on the inside to Creel now on the outside. Billy LaRue just putting that ball down. And that was half a chance there for the Bulls that they really needed to take. We've got some Jaffa cakes. Don't know if you have them. I think we do have them in New Zealand. I don't think they're as common as they used to be. They're like the little cake cups, aren't they? I think is how I describe them. I'm going to see whether or not this is going to be risky. I'm going to try and connect to a VPN in New Zealand and see whether or not for some reason that would help with the Wi-Fi. It may also cut me out for 5 seconds, so just be wary. Right, I'm now connected to it. It doesn't seem like it changed anything. So I guess that's good. In a way, it's also not ideal. We have got there nearly, says Jimbo, for the Bulls attack there too. Now getting ready. Feed this ball in. George Horn. Welcome back, Kerr. That's a question and a half. I don't know if there's a good answer there. Because don't get me wrong, I like cake. But either way, it's just not ideal. The thing is, the first one you could get away with technically saying you're cooking the second option. Because you are theoretically, as you've said, eating it. So I feel like that's the better option as a cooked one. But it's still not ideal. No change, says Big Rig. And also we go there, someone must take control, says Ruth. Now ready to put this ball in, George Horn. And it's going to be a big push from the Bulls, but it ends up with the Glasgow Warriors scrum. It's a big moment there for that side, as I think that the scrums were the big talking point throughout this match, whether or not they were going to be able to enforce that physicality up front, the Bulls. And they kind of did, because Glasgow got side shuffled a little bit. And someone must take control. Says Ruth in there as well. And now, ready to go for the corner here, Glasgow, or at least towards that halfway line, sorry. England doing England things, says Big Rig. And Bulls scrumming into touch, says Jimbo. And also, fun fact, there was a whole lawsuit whether Jaffa Cakes were legally biscuits or cakes. Who won in the end? Was it the cakes or the biscuits? Debate. Fantastic, Kevin. All my love, strength and wishes, says Ruth. And already 10 minutes of the way through this contest, it always flies by for a Saturday morning game. It is counted as a cake. I guess it's in the name, isn't it? Or was it originally not called a Jaffa cake because of the indecision? That was Johnny Matthews' indecision there. He was going to throw that ball and kind of half fell forward by himself. A bit of a tumble almost for the Glasgow hooker. You look happy today. Well, that's the main thing then, isn't it? As long as we're looking happy. Look at their space cake, says Martin. Now going off to the left-hand side. Little spin attempted there. Something I've always been confused by is ice cream cake. Because theoretically, you could just tip a bottle of ice cream upside down, and that is also an ice cream cake, right? Now, George Horn, taking this one up high and long. This one taking a while to come down, but nicely taken by Villy LaRue. Gives it off to Sebastian de Klerk. A man who did get selected in that. Springbok squad passes on the outside. Straight to Reno Jacobs. And that looked a little bit too easy for the Bulls to be able to break through and get themselves their try back in this matchup. We have got their cakes are classed as luxury goods and taxed more. So Jaffa Cake Manufacturer tried to argue, despite the name, they are actually biscuits they lost. It sounds like something you would lose. You know, they named it after something. Hamish, your connection is bad. It's actually really, really bad today. And I don't know why. I do know why. We've had quite strong winds, so there's probably like trees and all sorts down at the moment. Sebastian de Klerk is magic sometimes, says Yanko. Anything can happen in live sports, says Big Rig, and Seb de Klerk, says Jimbo. And there as well. Yeah, just running that one in. Stravino Jacobs. Keegan Johannes now. And we have got there Sebastian de Klerk is amazing. And magic sometimes. And that one has missed far away to the side for for Keegan Johannes. So you think he's safe? Who are we talking about being safe? Like Sebastian de Klerk, and great drive, fantastic vision. He just cut through. And then George Horney went for that ankle tap, didn't quite get there. Mackay had to make the last-ditch effort in the tackle, but space on the outside and a bit of a frustrated look backwards from Kyle Rowe. And I feel like the first thing that happens when a guy looks back like that is he was possibly out of position in the first place and looking for someone to blame. The kick chase was terrible. Warriors liner all over the place. It's a conversion. He did miss away to the side, kicking Johannes. And one too many points last night, says Big Rig. Although they did manage to get themselves that early try as well. So I think both of these sides will ease into this contest, slowly get there. And now kicking this one off for the Glasgow Warriors, taken by Yandre Rudolph. Certainly a guy to keep an eye on throughout the Carling Curry Cup. Springbok head coach. In terms of like posting things on Twitter, well, the thing is, if it's something that they're going to pull up, he's pretty much thrown himself under the bus. Because he has got, the thing is, that one, there's a lot of evidence that he has done that, if that makes sense, in terms of his posting. But I think they've got to the point now they're like, we're not going to try and control him because then he'll find another loophole. That's a drop ball from Kyle Stein, mistake around the halfway line. Then you have cable Wi-Fi, says Fleshin. I do. Yeah, and it doesn't like me today for some reason. In fact, yeah, I am plugged in. So I'm not too sure what to do about that. But yeah, we've had some pretty bad weather all around here as well as up north a little bit. Flights have been cancelled, trees have been down, power lines, all sorts. So it could be something to do with that maybe. You are out of sync, says Jeff, in terms of the game or in terms of with my mouth. And does Ethan Hooker have a talent to play at the wing, says Xander. Good evening. I'm a bit late, says Jeremy, but it is great to have you here nonetheless. And hi everyone, says Lily, you're welcome in. And also we have there, did Brazil make it? They did. Paraguay actually got themselves kicked out of the World Cup due to the same thing that Spain had for the last World Cup, which was an eligible or ineligible player. Oh, another penalty goes the way of the Glasgow Warriors. That is pretty massive for this side, I have to say. Something that you would not see too often, a voice and visual out of sync. That's a bit of a new one then. I think it's just down to how poor my Wi-Fi is. We had a storm here, Storm Benjamin, but it was much less severe than feared. And what is wrong with the Bulls scrum? Yeah, it's been a bit of a rough start. Your audio is out of sync. Yeah, it is due to poor Wi-Fi. I don't know what I can do about that just at this point in time, other than leave the live stream and reset my Wi-Fi. But that might be a little bit of a tricky situation to do midstream. Ready to throw it in now. Johnny Matthews. Looping around here, George Horn. Big attack and run from Tuipulotu yet again. Just saying there that he was not part of the ruck, so it is going to be play on yet again. George Horn off to the right-hand side, Sione Tuipulotu now trying to go through. Stafford McDowell can't quite get that next offload away. Now off to the left, a drop ball there from Glasgow, but it did go backwards, just slotted in. Thank you for covering my favourite team, Bubberton Daisies. Says Daniel there. The ref doesn't want to give us a pen, dodgy calls. Says Aino there, and it is a penalty to the Bulls. Right on cue. Love to see Hooker at 13. Says Martin there. Okay, I think Mornay Smith has decided this is the opportunity to try and talk to the referee and see whether or not he can get himself a bit more of an example of what to do at scrum time. What I'm quickly going to do, I'll see whether or not it works. I'll try and hotspot myself for a little bit here and see whether or not that gives me any sort of better Wi-Fi while I can try and sync up with the other Wi-Fi. But, ready to throw this one in for Johan Robela. Yes, if they were to put it up, I think they would have done it already, so I'm pretty sure he's safe. Says Ethan Hooker. Of course, it all depends on what he says. Like, if he tweets out something like these refs are cheats or something like that, he probably wouldn't be. But with what he's said so far, it's nothing that no one hasn't said pretty much anyway. And maybe just refresh. And so at halftime, says Aino there and kick for the corner. Says Luke, currently around the halfway line. For the Glasgow Warriors, managing to roll out of that breakdown was Mornay Smith. Why not restarting the game, Hamish? As in, like, this match here that's going on at the moment, I don't think they'll start it again after 16 minutes. Stafford McDowell, big fin there. Trying to break through. Glasgow making a lot of good meters at the moment. Every time they start to move in a forward direction. Now off to the right-hand side, almost able to go through a gap for Brown. Offloads to Sione Tuipulotu, breaking through now. Plenty of pace, but he's dragged down just short of the line by Villy LaRue. Now the ball's gone backwards, says the referee. And there's the penalty. This one, luckily, it's not going to be anything more severe. But it's offside against Villy LaRue. Yeah, just a nice break in behind, cutting through the gap, and then Tuipulotu receiving that pass and put him through. Very nice gap we have got there, 000. Says Ethan there, and also the idea of restarting game 20 minutes in, because someone watching at home missed it, is hilarious, says Big Rig. And evening all, says Mr. Fantastic AJ, welcome in. If you're doing extremely well, hopefully you're doing better than Max Williamson. He is currently down with some sort of injury. In this case, does not look comfortable one bit. Visual looks like it's 144p, audio out of sync, but at least the audio is very clear. Says Andy, yeah, it's a bit of a shocker at the moment. I have no idea why. Once again, I think it's weather related. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug, because you guys will still be able to slightly hear me, I believe. So I'm currently standing up. They have got an injury stoppage at this point in time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the Wi-Fi from the back of my... Right. I'm back. Maybe. That didn't like me much. It says that I haven't got internet at the moment. So I don't know how that works, if you guys can still see me or not. But, gotta love a bit of dodgy Wi-Fi. We have there Villiers past his playing days, says Martin. Your scorecard is in 8K though. Yeah, so it's just my face that doesn't like me at the moment. It's still blurry though, I think. Even though, so this is through just Wi-Fi. Being plugged in did not work either. So I think the only way to do it is to reset the whole modem. But yeah, we'll try and do that at halftime, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty much a streamer's worst nightmare is to have their Wi-Fi not working. That one's going to be put into touch. Audio is perfect and exactly matching Sky Sports. says Jimbo there, but Johnny Matthews ready. Throw this ball in. We can see the 1980s poorly stored archive of you. Says Studs Race. Now back across. Johnny Matthews goes to Sione Tuipulotu. Off to the left-hand side again. Getting closer to the line for Matt Fagerson. Who's your provider? I think it's Spark. If I'm not wrong, but now Tuipulotu, another step there. Just a few inches out from the try line. The worst thing is my coverage of the game is crystal clear and actually running smoother than it normally would. So it's as if the only thing that doesn't want to work is actually the Wi-Fi for the stream. Don't even stress even lightly. Says, cool story. Now 15 metres out from the try line. Shot on Jack Dempsey. Now a little pop pass in behind. Big rush defence there from the Bulls. Although there is going to be the advantage for the knock-on in the process of the tackle. I said just a little knock-on sneaking in there for them in the unopportune time. I think that's a word. It may not be. And going to go back for the original knock-on. I'm very confused at why it is not working. Great defence, Bulls. Says Jimbo in there, but yeah, just dropping it there, Cummins, as he was trying to shovel it onwards that little bit further. And yeah, it was just a knock-on from Ruan Nokia as he was making that tackle that did cause a slight mistake. You mind, Hamish? After I have a few vodkas, you'll be looking normal again. Says Ruth there. Okay, the call from the referee is to keep the scrum off the deck. That's fine by me, says Martin. And come on the Bulls, says Stephanie Mole. And there as well. And currently they are down by 2, but they've got plenty of potential. Having a few Wi-Fi issues, so hopefully you can slightly see me. In this one, we have got there, inopportune is definitely a word, says Youngko. And watching the scrum like a hawk, says Studs Race. And it is the feed for Glasgow. Already 20 minutes through this contest. Score sitting 7-5, so a close game. That one has gone down again, but no advantage is given for this one. Tuipulotu with the flat ball to Stafford McDowell. Look very close to forward. Looping around, Jake Dempsey. So ref says Nokia drove front row downward, says Jimbo. So next week, Wallabies versus England and New Zealand versus Ireland. Any predictions? It's a tricky one. Definitely New Zealand, Ireland. Australia, England's going to be annoying because of the fact that we can't actually watch it due to it overlapping with South Africa, Japan. Little chip in behind, attempted by Glasgow, and it goes out 1 metre from the opposition line. It's a sneaky little play, although the Bulls might consider themselves quite lucky there. The fact that gives them a bit of that lifeline. And that little chip in behind. Nicely done by Ambrose Papia. Don't underestimate lightning, says Daniel there. And also Japan is quite squeaky. And they have flashes of brilliance. So we have so many internet problems in South Africa that the outer sync feels normal, says Xander there. You see, it's not normal for me to have one bar for more than about 30 seconds. So this is very confusing. But, that ball's not coming out for the Bulls. They tried to get a rolling maul going, but Glasgow getting in there, keeping it there as well. So they will now have themselves a 5 metre scrum just out from the Bulls line. So some would say a success for that line out. Hello, Hamish. Hello, people. How are we doing? I'm in 144p at the moment, Seb, but hopefully you're doing very well. And sunstorms can be cruel and keep us alive, says Daniel there. I'll be watching England versus Oz. Sorry, got to happen, says Studs Race. Yeah, it's just really poor scheduling. Whoever did it, surely they could have gone earlier or later with one of those games, or maybe play it on a different day, but no, they've got it with the overlap. Hamish, your mustache looks bigger. I don't know if it's probably grown a little bit, maybe, but yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know whether or not to shave it at some point. I don't know whether to just leave it and see how long it gets. Big decisions. I'll probably make a dumb forfeit at some stage and then I have to take it off anyway. Gravit's making me nostalgic for my childhood games. Free kick. Going the way of the Bulls at scrum time this time. Do you think Japan is going to give the Springboks a good run? Possibly not. 2 games overlap. Twit's going to run a bath, says Bruce. And also when last the Japan and Argentina play, are they on the same level? I'd say they aren't. I think Argentina is still considered as high. Shave your head, says Martin. We've already kind of been there, done that, though. We did the buzz cut, which was pretty much a shaven head. Just saying there about the body position of the front rowers in the scrums. They've been pretty ugly all over today in terms of the scrummaging department for both sides. There's some aliens activities up there in Galaxy fiddling with those satellite rays. And big step back by Warriors front row. Good call, ref, says Jimbo. Watching as always from Kenya, loving the commentary behind Glasgow. Says Joshua, and it is greatly appreciated. You've been here yet again. So you think it will be a walk in the park? I don't know if it will be a walk in the park. I think it will be very similar to what we saw between South Africa and Georgia. They may start well, but then the Box will wear them down. Going off to the left-hand side. FYI, your audio is just fine. That's the confusing thing. I would have thought the audio would be glitching a bit with low Wi-Fi too, but everything is smooth except for my face. I'll be at the Japan game, says Fleshin. Be a good one. Because it's at Wembley, isn't it? For that match, just a drop ball from Glasgow when they were on attack. Ball put down by Jamie Barty, and it does now bring the scrum feed for the Bulls again. Delayed audio, it's weird, says Ruth. Yeah, it's very confusing. And once again, I really don't know why. I don't know whether or not it's from how it was set up at the start, or whether it's just my Wi-Fi in general. Watching from Texas today, last week LA, then Cape Town the week after that, says Cursor, you are still definitely flying all around, or not flying in some regards, but still going all over the place in that regard. So, yeah, hopefully you're still enjoying it, because you're back down in New Zealand near Christmas, aren't you, Kerr, I believe, or a little bit later than Christmas maybe. Do you think Zachary will be in the team? He may get a chance, Zachary Porthen. Now backline movement here for the Bulls. Sitting about 38 metres from the line. This is where they wouldn't mind taking that lead at this point of the contest. That was a poor pass, but well handled and then put down by Stravino Jacobs. Why do Northern Hemisphere teams need effed up rest to get results? Says John van Veeren. The thing is, right, like, yes, some of the refs aren't great, but it's always a tricky one when you see like 15 handling errors from a side as well. Like, I'm always of the mindset, if it's a very close game and a side loses because of a call, I'm like, okay, that was unfortunate. But if they had chances to win a game beforehand and they don't take them, that always is the one that makes me go, oh, you know, it could have been different. But, yeah. Too busy, but nice to go back to South Africa, says Kerr there. How's the TMO so far in this game? Not too many overturns, hopefully. Yeah, no, the TMO's only been involved once, I believe, so far for a high tackle. Any thoughts about the Welsh region? Sounds like 3 teams is going to be the go for next season in the Welsh side of things. But then it sounds like it's still going to be the Dragons, which is a bit of a unique one. Now, ball was in the hand of the Bulls. They have dropped it again. We have got their TMO struggling with his Wi-Fi too. Sees Big Rick kick downfield here from Glasgow, getting it right down the middle of the field. Now LaRue at the back. He's going to kick this one towards the sideline, bouncing awkwardly. And cleaned up just near the sideline from Jack Dempsey. This is where 26 minutes in, it's still anyone's game in this scenario. That one's going to be put into touch. I've just done a speed test to see if my Wi-Fi was any good. It says it should be fine. So it's very confusing. I am confused. I am always confused, though. In my opinion, they are going to rest Oxford, Ireland, and France. Some unforced handling errors. Weather. No, the weather looks all right, to be fair. I think because it's a late-night game, there's probably a little bit of dew around as well, but conditions seem all right. Good nighttime game of rugby. Awkward bouncing ball, nicely taken by George Horn around the halfway line. Only option then is a restart. Yeah, it's either restart the Wi-Fi or out of the streaming software and come back in. But then, of course, the stream would be blank for a little bit, is the only thing. Been told to use it now. Unless I can get strategic. Oh, coming forward. What we're going to do is we're going to go like that. And go like that. 2 seasons time. They can't drop a team until the end of 2027-28 and lower the game quality. Well, the thing is, normally the game quality is lower. And I've checked, and the Wi-Fi is all good. Like, I've got about probably 4 times as much Wi-Fi as I'd need to stream in good quality like normal. So it's just something in terms of the software that doesn't want to quite convert to where it needs to be. Going off to the left-hand side, chance here for the Bulls. Getting driven towards the sidelines and into touch there. Now, chance here for Glasgow on the line out. We're going to try something, ladies and gents. We'll see whether or not it does work. We could go blank for like 20 seconds, but I'm worried that that might confuse a lot of people. In fact, if I'm fast enough, it might be fine. I'm going to leave the studio, and then I'm going to come back in like 5 seconds. In fact, everyone get your phones out and count how many seconds I'm gone for. I'm going to try and do this in about 13. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, there's another button. Hang on. We'll start the clock now. Wait, there's another button. Right, we're back in a little box, ladies and gents. Go like this. Go like that. Get that up. At the moment, it's fine. So if that was all I had to do to fix it, I would be quite annoyed. But that seems like it might be it. So it was obviously how I had the live stream set up for a start. Unless, of course, it drops now. But it looks like it's going fine. 48 seconds. That was a fast 48 seconds. That's what I often say. 11 seconds. You're much sharper now, says Yanko. So yeah, all I had to do was cancel out. It's weird. Wi-Fi. Gotta love it. Now, ball is available here for Glasgow around the halfway line. Yeah, there's no problems now. Just like that. Could have done that. Oh, hang on. We dropped to 2 bars. We're back to 1 bar. We had it good for about 20 seconds, and now it's back down. You took 25 seconds, says Venica. Feels like I put my glasses on, says Sebastian. Much better, says Jeremy. I think we all jinxed it, but the penalty will go the way of the Glasgow Warriors. Oh, we were so close. It was good, and now it's gone. Oh, I have another idea. Hang on. We're going to go like that. We're going to share the screen like that, and like that, and like this, and like that, and like that, and that. Boom. We'll see if that works. Another crisis resolved, Hamish. Well done. I'm always confused timelines. Ooh. Okay, I've got 2 bars now. Sorry, this is just Wi-Fi technicalities while also watching a line out. And there we go, no issues now. Oh no, we just need a try from the Bulls. Oh, it just went back down. We have got there, you're looking much better. I tried turning down my brightness. I could only see your white, you with teeth, says Jeff. But now, rolling maul here. And like they have said, a little knock on from Matt Fagerson. I don't think you're going to win this one. No. The only other option is to get my handyman skills out and at halftime take you guys into the living room or the lounge, depending on where you're from. I call it a lounge, but I thought more people would call it a living room. Stick you on a tripod and then try and fix the Wi-Fi live on stream. Does it have something to do with the weather? Saw that it hasn't been ideal. Yeah, it's been pretty rough here. A lot of rain, a lot of wind as well. More so wind in the South Island. Decent pick, says Fleshin. And how you doing, sir, says Mania. Hopefully you are doing very well. I'm doing well. Enjoying the rugby that has happened so far. Low scoring close game, which was expected. Also a lounge in South Africa. And also, you are clear now here in South Africa. Says cool story there as well. Clear for me, says V. Oh, well, I've got 1 bar at the moment, but if it is clear with 1 bar, unlike before, we'll take it, and I just won't adjust it. But, yeah, hopefully it stays that way. Another scrum feed chance here for the Bulls. 31 minutes through this contest. It is going very quickly. Even though we've had the Wi-Fi difficulties, it's still a match that has just flown by so far. Too much good defending. That is one part of it. These two sides very good defensively when they're inside of their own 22. And that's going to be the penalty now going the way of the Bulls. We're literally trying to raise the bar. says Sebastian, and who missed the Bulls conversion? Keegan Johannes was the man who ended up missing it. That's 3 pens. Warriors have not taken. 9 points gone a begging. And now the scrums are starting to look up, says Yanko. Yeah, I think that is where the Bulls, that is where the Sharks, those South African sides really do thrive. Kiwi Sir, do you plan on watching the UFC? It's Tom Aspinall fighting, isn't it? Up against Cyril Gahn. I probably will try and watch it at some point. Probably won't get to see it live, though. Commentator says Quandeli, welcome in. And which half and which score? Says Daniel there. See, I've gone Glasgow by 7 in this game. And I feel like that might not be a mile off. Now looking for this rolling maul again here. Johan Robela. Lounge more formal room. Not to be confused with drawing room, then living room informal. Says Kerr. There you go. You know your rooms well. And up to the halfway line. Off to the left-hand side, Ruan Nokia. And I hope they don't regret it, Aino. And there as well, now going off to the right again. Big collision on Marcel Kutsia around the halfway line. Are we still 7-5? We actually are, yeah. So 2 sides that, with the exception of one defensive error from both teams, like they've been pretty much solid as they can be all throughout this first half. Now around the halfway line. Chance here for Trevino Jacobs. Now again going off to the left-hand side. Little chip attempted in behind. Oh, and a knock on from Ville Larue. Personally, as a Bulls fan, I hope they do regret it, says Haino. And also we got there the Blue Bulls. Says Willamore, a tough one to take for Trevino Jacobs, but he's done extremely well to bend his body in the right direction. And Nokia, 3310, says V there. Now rolling it back in Bros Papier, just trying to get someone in position, ready to go for perhaps a kick from just outside of their own 22, the Bulls. And also we've got their Bulls going to get 2 points from this, says Cool Story. Now kick downfield. Going up for it, Sebastian Leclerc, but it is well taken by Adam Hastings. It's wrestled down by Stravino Jacobs. George Horn. Still 6 minutes left in the half, and that theoretically is enough time for 2 more tries. Watching directly from Brazil. And Brazil qualifying for that Rugby World Cup, they initially did lose to Paraguay in the 2-match series, but because of Paraguay having an ineligible player, it means that Brazil are going to the World Cup now, which is absolutely massive for them. We have their reminder that the Simpsons have a rumpus room in their home. It only appears like 8 times in the last 35 years of the show. And drawing room being the shortened term for withdrawing room, the room ladies went to after dinner to leave the men folk to smoke cigars and talk. See, I'll be honest, and I feel like this is going to sound, I don't know whether this will sound dumb, probably. I thought a drawing room was literally a room for drawing. Like you put your put your table down with your pens and your pencils, and that was just, the drawing room. Back to the drawing board in my drawing room, no. I guess I would be very wrong. Is rugby a southern thing in Brazil? Says Yanko. I'm not too sure which part of Brazil does play, but they'll be certainly getting behind it. The upcoming World Cup, that is for sure. Do you think Samoa will go to the World Cup? It's either Samoa or Namibia for me. Oh, sorry, Brazil not in the World Cup, into the qualifying stage to go to the World Cup. My apologies. They are actually into the next point of being able to make their way forward. So they haven't qualified yet, but they've got a chance to. That was my bad. That was very confusing. But now, another scrum due to the Bulls managing to tie up that ball. Honestly, don't understand how the Sharks basically have a full team of box, but they can't win games. Says Menier. And yeah, they've gone with, once again, a very strong selection heading into their match this weekend up against the Scarlets. Namibia is out, says Martin. Although Namibia still have the chance in the repechage, same as Samoa, same as Belgium, and same as Brazil. I don't think Glasgow is going to win this one. I just hope that the Bulls put up a good fight and keep the scores tight. Yeah, if the Bulls can walk away from this game with 1 or 2 bonus points, if they were to lose, I think they'd consider that as quite a big bonus. The last thing that you want to have in this scenario is a heavy loss that then just stops you from getting any sort of bonus, and also has you lower in the points differential. What was wrong with the player? What made him ineligible? I assume it was maybe how long he had played in Paraguay for or something. I think it's the same scenario as Spain had. But the thing is, right, I just wish that they would do it before a team's qualified. Like, look at their lineups. It takes 5 minutes to work out whether or not a player's eligible. So just, like, it just seems rough to go, oh, congratulations, you've won both your games, you're through to the next round, and now we've decided to check something and you're not eligible. Like, I feel like that's almost on World Rugby for not actually doing the paperwork and checking to see if these guys are allowed to be playing. We have their living room and formal, family lounge, formal, entertaining, men and women, drawing room, formal for women only, says Kerr. We have their Paraguay voluntarily admitted it after the fact, says Big Rig. But yeah, it's just a weird situation, isn't it? Like, there's a lack of paperwork that's been done beforehand by probably both parties in that regard. Brian Room says Paraguay there. Says Zander, I should say. Now going up to the left-hand side. A little pop pass across to Kyle Stein. What's more amazing, Bafana qualifying for the Football World Cup or Brazil for the Rugby? Well, they haven't qualified for the World Cup yet, Brazil, because I made a mistake and they're only through to the repechage rather than that World Cup in general. They basically snitched their way out of a World Cup, says Big Rig. Who in the world has a woman-only lounge, says Yanko. And now Alcione Tui Pilotu, little step attempted there by the big inside centre. Not really going forward at the moment too much. Kiwi Sir, who is playing at 10 for the Bulls. They have got Keegan Johannes in the 10 jersey. Skip pass out wide. Now chance here for Kyle Rowe. Got men on the inside, but almost driven out. Yes, he is. Great defence from the Bulls again. Both of these sides defensively have been sound throughout this 37 minutes. And they just, they aren't leaking easy points. One of those ones that as long as you stop the opposition from scoring, you've got a really good chance of at least being close in this game. We have got their Spain had qualified and played that South African in the last game when they didn't have to. C.S. Fleshin. As if a man walks into a women's only lounge, do you need to rename the room? And how come Andre isn't playing? Is he injured? He's not injured. I think his wife was having a baby at some point, so that might have something to do with it, but also with the fact that he is more than likely going to be in that first Springboks lineup up against the Japanese. I feel like there are a few Boks that got released to play for their sides, but not everyone. And that kind of tells you who might be playing in that first round. Don't want to jinx anything, but South African teams tend to finish stronger than they start. First half could have gone much worse. True, they did concede a try within the first, I think it was the first 7 minutes, wasn't it? They did end up conceding that first try, Sione Tuipulotu, but from there we have seen no more tries. And Glasgow, they have turned down 3 times that they could have gone for 3 points and they didn't. I wish the Kenya Rugby Union would have, says Joshua. And here we are, hopefully going to be covering some of the Kenyan sevens on the channel, depending on whether or not it's easily available for us here in New Zealand. Yeah, that wasn't great, but only 2p down, says Yanko. I didn't even know Brazil play rugby. Who do they need to beat now to qualify? They need to beat Namibia, Samoa, and Belgium. So, pretty tough, really. But even to be through to this stage, pretty massive for them. Aside from the wars, 1 laps. Defense has been great on both, or from both teams so far. And yeah, it's interesting because this is the type of game that some people would say, oh, it's low scoring. Both sides aren't breaking through. So they try and call it a boring game. But I think that both sides, their credit really is in the defense at the moment and the way that they've been able to stop any sort of real big attacking chance. Like, don't get me wrong, Glasgow have had their opportunities inside of the Bulls 22, but they haven't been able to do much with it. Couple metres out for the line being stopped pretty much every single time. And go, the Glasgow Warriors, says Martin. Come on, Glasgow, says Sean there. We're now ready for the Bulls line out. We're just having a bit of a stoppage there for the players, but about 30 metres out from their own line here, the Bulls managing to retain it with Ruan Nokia. Loose ball picked up nicely in the midfield from Harold Foster. Told to release it there. McRensburg says Sakabula there. Oh, and that's a penalty now going the way of the Bulls. They just bore a high shot from Jamie Bati. It's kind of interesting how much better Argentina are at rugby than their neighbours, says Big Rig. And you just wonder whether or not that is down to just having more time to develop. Like, you look at the women's Brazilian team, and they're going from strength to strength at the moment in terms of the build that they are creating, but it all just takes that little bit of time, doesn't it? And Oki almost reached the moon on that line out, says Studs Razor. Wish Kenya Rugby Union would have invested more in the qualifiers. We could be either in the World Cup or the repechage, says Joshua. And especially given it's no less football obsessed than any of its neighbours, says Youngko. Now around the halfway line. Looking for the steal and the breakdown. I think it was Matt Fagerson. Got knocked off to the side though. Now just the 90 seconds remaining of the half. Johan Robela, that's going to be a knock-on against Jack Dempsey in the process of the tackle. Selling out Twickenham with sweet. I want more of that, says Big Rig. And drawing, scribing, creating, painting, and our commentating. Or you commentating, our favourite sport, says Daniel there. And I'm a Stormer. Love it when the Bulls lose. Go the Glasgow Warriors, says Martin. Yeah, the Stormers, they have got their game later on tonight or later on today, depending on where you are in the world, up against Zebra, which will be an interesting one. Looks like Walker making his way off the field. That is going to be for Sam Talakai. Bit of an early switch here, but I guess scrum-wise, it hasn't been the most consistent for Glasgow throughout the second quarter of this game. When we get less injuries than men in rugby, that means more injuries in football than men. So, all says cool story. I need coffee strong now. Told you after vodka. You look normal now, Hamish. And R360 might trip women's rugby up, says Jimbo. Now Ambrose Papier. Stormers. Oh, sorry, no, they're not playing Zebra, are they? They're taking on No. Who are they? Oh, sorry, Benetton. Benetton is who they're playing. They played Zebra last week. My apologies. Oh, another penalty. Double blow of the whistle too. This might be a bit of an interesting one. Time is off. And the Bulls have an opportunity. If they do want to go for it, this would be out in front of the post. This would be a chance for 3 points if they're interested. Okay, he's gone to his knee for 2 scrums now, and Benetton. So here's Ethan there. Okay, the warning has been set. And that is pretty much going to be last warning. Anytime that it goes down now at scrum time, they are going to be in some sort of trouble. But what we are going to do, ladies and gents, I will ask the question just very quickly. Are we clear now, or is it still blurry? Because we are just about on halftime, so depending on what it is will depend on what I do during that halftime break. Good, says Big Rick. And best games are chess. And come on the Glasgow Warriors, says Martin in there as well. Yeah, both of these sides are going to have to work extremely hard to find a gap in the opposition defence. Clear, says Big Rick. Keegan Johannes, he will be lining up this shot. Still clear, says Haino. And perfect for me. And good quality. Okay, so it's saying that it's not clear for me, but if it is clear, then I don't really have to fix anything. You are clear enough for my aunt, says, cool story, and clear, but you're frozen now, says Mohadeen. You're blurry, but that's me, says Sakabola, but that is a good kick from Keegan Johannes, but it is short. Hasn't ended up going over. So it means that at halftime, she is a chess match and a half. 7 points to 5, the split between these two sides. Certainly better than when we joined, or when I joined, says Sebastian. And what time are the Stormers player? They are going to be playing at 5:30 New Zealand time, so that must be 6:30 for you guys in South Africa. Useless Johannes, yeah, he's missed 2 kicks so far. So Glasgow have turned down 3 kicks, and the Bulls have missed 2 kicks. This is one awful game, says Seamus. And man, these lads are not having their best day, are they? And one major difference between the URC and Test level rugby is how many of the kicks miss. Says Young Cohen, great half for the Bulls, they'll win it. Yeah, see, the thing is, the Bulls came in as big underdogs, so for them to only be down by 2 points at this point in time, I think they'd be pretty happy, wouldn't they? They'd say, look, we missed a couple opportunities. They didn't have a huge amount of attack. In fact, I can't think of a time outside of their try that they were actually inside of the opposition 22. You must do the washing, says Martin. I have to do the washing at some point soon. You've actually just reminded me, Martin, so thank you very much. We have got their Hills on the bench to replace Keegan. One second, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that. There we go. These are the benches for this matchup. So they have got Stedman Hans as well as Kutli Arnse as the two options off the bench, with Paul de Vet in that number 21 jersey. Nabakaba, also JJ Teron, is still there as the 19. Juan else, Yannicki, and also Klopper as the front row replacements for Glasgow. Some very decent options. We have already seen that change of Sam Talakai. He's made his way onto the field not too long ago. They have also got their Ferry, so going with their, I believe, 6-2 split here for Glasgow, if I am correct, unless I'm confusing Ferry with someone else. Our Warriors loose yet on thin ice with the ref and missing the whole first half, who was dominating. No one's really dominating at this point. Glasgow have had a lot more of the attack, but the Bulls' defence have held them together and kept them well and truly in this game. We have got their ball scrum too heavy for Glasgow Loosehead. They literally cannot hold it up, so they're missing. So I was missing with the gap. Just a theory at the moment. Might get a better view in the second half, says Studs Rays, and going into the second half with a slight advantage too because of the scrum warning. Says Youngko. Have you ever been to South Africa, says Mania? I have not, but at some stage in the future I would like to go. But I'm a very indecisive person, so I wouldn't know where to go, for how long to go, what to do if I was there. So I've got a lot of questions that need to be answered before I start booking anything too substantial. No, Hans doesn't kick, says Timmy Smith. Yeah, so they're pretty much stuck with Johannes, aren't they? Unless, they've got David Creel in the starting lineup though, so he could take over. Sounds like a boring game then, says Marcus. So it's not too bad. If you like defence, it's been pretty good to watch. But yeah, if you like rugby just for like tries being scored, then this probably isn't the game. But it could be in the second half. Highland Hamish says Robert. Ball's taking this one as well, says Ethan. And at this point, Villy, are we a better kicker than King Johannes? And also, Bulls look impressive so far, just annoying when we have a terrible kicker. And also, what do you want for Christmas? I haven't actually thought about Christmas too much yet, but I think we're only about 50 days away. In fact, that's a lie. I think we're closer to 60 days because it's the 25th. How many days until Christmas? If I had to guess, I'd say 61. 61. I just typed into Christmas, how many days to Christmas? That's an awkward spelling mistake. But yeah, 61 days until Christmas. Crazy. What's your prediction then? I've gone, the thing is, I'm very bad at predictions, and normally whoever I back doesn't win. So I've gone Glasgow by 7, and I don't know whether or not that's going to jinx them or whether that could actually be the case in terms of the scoreline. It might not be a mile off in this matchup. At some point, you've got to see a game in Australia, see a game in South Africa, see a game at Twickenham, see a game in France. Say it's for work and write it off in your taxes. Says Big Rig, the big difference with me between Test Rugby and URC is officiating. Testers are better or is a bit more consistent, while URC is a bit north-based and incompetent, says Sue there. And also, hi, what a close game, go Glasgow, says Johan Hussen there. And also, I want an Ashes win for Christmas, says Seb. How many days till the Ashes, by the way, Seb? It must be not that far. It is, that's less than a month away. A really close first half, hoping for a Bulls second half comeback, says Stephanie. And also depends on what toy you want for Christmas. Scrum's basically useless if we can't beat or can't convert them into points through a kicking problem. I want a cheerful breakfast, go on Japan. What time will the Springboks vs Japan be in South Africa? I think it will kick off. I think it's a 6:10 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. I could be wrong though. But yeah, somewhere around there. 1 second. Japan versus South Africa. When is it? Is it going to tell me? Maybe. It is loading. Yeah, 6:10 p.m. South African time. It's when that one's taking place. What time is the Stormers playing? Stormers, 1 second. We'll do the quick Google, but I think that they are 6:30 p.m. South African time. Yes, they are, up against Benetton in that match. Now we have there's Johan Hussen injured. I'm not actually sure what's happening with Johan Hussen. To be fair, I assume there might be an injury unless they're just going with the younger option in that regard. And we have got there, Bulls going to lose again, says Martin. Yeah, this is the type of win that both of these sides need. Glasgow in third, Bulls in sixth at the moment on the standings. So a few very valuable points up for grabs here. Just whether or not that underdog of the Bulls can get over the line in the second half, or whether the favourite will stay firmly in control. But then the thing is, I wouldn't call this firmly in control either. I think that the only part of it that's been firm is the fact that the Bulls just haven't been able to get through. And they've hardly had an attack inside of the opposition 22 either. And yes, he is, says Yanko, and Hussein on the pension, says Martin. But second half of this contest getting very close. Also to come in the near future, ladies and gents. This is the next round of the URC. Now, you will notice it's quite far ahead because we do have quite a substantial break for URC rugby. That is when we go into the international side of things for a little bit of time. But Ulster Benetton, they will be returning and firing up the URC next round alongside Dragons and Leinster. A little bit of an overlap in that regard. Bulls versus Lions, Munster versus the Stormers, and then Connacht, they will be going head-to-head with the Sharks. So that is in the last round. And then alongside that, also some great games taking place as well. But alongside that, we got international rugby just around the corner. I'm still waiting for the draw to be done for those World Cup repechage games. In fact, we'll have a quick look now. They've just wished a random bloke happy birthday at the stadium. That's kind of cool. I don't know whether or not he's being they're paid to do that, or whether that's just something that they do. They find whose birthday it is and wish them luck. Right, we're going to go here to World Rugby's website. Hopefully it doesn't kick me out. We have there Glasgow needs to retain the ball and avoid scrums because they're in serious trouble at the set piece. If you're 4 p.m. here, says Fleshin, and also now the Bulls have been flat tyres, but now Glasgow look poof, says Juan. Close game between Northampton and Saracens as well. Noah Kalori, did I say that correctly? I probably said it slightly wrong, as a young winger to watch for in the future. They've got some great players in the back three out of the Gallagher Premiership, and it's always, the good news is they show it here in New Zealand, and they also show the replays every once in a while, so I do get to catch some of those games that do overlap. But no, very entertaining competition to watch. Even if you just go on for a random game, it's normally pretty entertaining. I still remember a Harlequins Exeter Chiefs game that I watched about 4 years ago. And it was a random hour of the night, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put on the Gallagher Premiership. It was one of the first times that I watched a game of rugby outside of streaming for quite some time, and it was just a brilliant game. Right, so we do see Hong Kong, China are playing up against Germany. Germany are playing Belgium on the... Wait. If Germany are playing Belgium on the 20th of November, when are Belgium planning on doing their World Cup qualifiers? Because I thought they were also taking place throughout November, weren't they? Oh, no, there it is. Right. So they're going to play a midweek game beforehand. That seems brutal. But yeah, Sunday 9th of November is going to be the first match, 2 a.m. Oh, that's going to overlap, isn't it? That's just a time that sounds like it's going to be at a time when another game has taken place. They always do this. Right. International Rugby, 9th of November. What do we got? Okay. So they've decided to put Samoa versus Brazil on at the same time as New Zealand 15 versus England A. And Ireland versus Japan. Those games both taking place at that same time. The other two rounds, though, might be doable. Samoa versus Namibia is a game that I wouldn't want to miss. That's at 4:30 a.m. on a Friday morning. And we haven't been here for a while. Says, well, it is greatly appreciated you popping back in. It's been quite some time, probably since Super Rugby or so, Zion, or at least that was probably the last time we had you week in, week out. And 9, do you think the Springboks team is being announced on Tuesday? Says Ethan, I think it will be. I think it will be a relatively early announcement from Brasi, just because, if you've got that whole weekend, you can kind of build into the whole week rather than weekend. You can build the hype for the game. One second, we'll go like this. And I like that as well. But both sides have made their way back out onto the field, so we are ready to go for a second half of rugby. Still a very close game between these two sides. Could easily go in either direction. But we will wait to see. And next Saturday should be good. ABs versus Ireland. Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal game, that one. Also, England versus Australia should be a great one. That reminds me, I have to try and talk to someone about maybe covering that one for me, seeing as it does overlap. Do you favour Otago tonight versus Canterbury? I think that Canterbury losing George Bell and Sam Derry, for me, makes it a 50-50 game. Otago have been in some great form, Canterbury the same. But with the fact that it's a home field advantage for Canterbury, them not having two of their most substantial players in the lineup, I think actually really bodes well for Otago. Hamish, are you going to have the layout up again with the lineups? I thought it looked good, says Shush. If I can sort my Wi-Fi, I will. But for some reason today, I think it's gone a little bit funny. So what I'll do is I'll end up resetting the Wi-Fi after the stream and see whether or not it will stay good for tonight, because we've got many more live streams coming up on the channel with the URC. So for that Ulster versus Lions game, we'll go back to that layout, see whether or not it all works well. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to use it for quite a few of the games of the URC. Time is the New Zealand kickoff, says Ethan. Next week, it is the later kickoff, I believe 9 a.m. New Zealand time. So quite a late game for you guys in South Africa, seeing as it's in the USA that it has taken place. But currently, second half is underway. Bulls have got themselves the possession round the halfway line. Already 40 seconds in. We're seeing a few phases put together by the Bulls, but not really going substantially forward just at this point. And Abel had an outstanding season. Pity for the NPC final. But he's great to see he's selected. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? But the worst thing is if Bell and Derry both, they could have just travelled to the Northern Hemisphere rather than to the USA as well. So I'd like to think that means Scott Robertson's at least going to play them in this Irish game, or someone get a chance. Like Derry probably will play, maybe ahead of Josh Lord. Oh, penalty going the way of the Bulls. Bulls 32, Glasgow Warriors 18. Okay, so going with quite a high-scoring game in that regard. Ulster versus Lions will be the biggest score in URC history. So you've expanded to league outside of Super Rugby and national games. Says on, yeah, we did that New Zealand versus Samoa game last week. Thoroughly entertaining matchup between the two sides. And this weekend, I'm hoping to do Samoa versus Tonga as well. The score's still close. Yeah, at the moment, still 7 points to 5 between these two teams. Was that for playing the 9, says Yanko? I think it may have been for one of them leaving their feet as well in that breakdown. That one not finding touch. And yeah, going for the extra distance. Couldn't quite get it for the Bulls, which means Glasgow defending the line out from the halfway line. Nicely claimed by Kobisavisa. To the right-hand side again. Running around, and Bruce Papier linking up now on the outside with Stravino Jacobs, who's been a hard man to put down throughout this match, but Stafford McDowell does it nicely. How much could you figure out how to capture our prediction? Says Xander, if you had reminded me at the start, I could have just starred them. But I completely forgot about it, to be honest. And Glasgow at home are normally good. Yeah, once they get their rhythm going and their flow, which is something that the Bulls deserve a lot of credit for throughout this game, because they've been able to stop that from happening. Trying a kick in behind there from Kyle Rowe. Almost missed the ball, but I think he kicked it into the Bulls. And they are just making the decision of whether or not it's going to be a Glasgow line-out or the Bulls this time. And need Darian Bell for midweek AB's prep. Reality of modern rugby. Yeah, I guess it just gives you those extra options, doesn't it, in that regard? Because I know the likes of Larkai and... Was it Larkai or was it Parker? Oh, it's going to be a knock-on called against Glasgow. As Kyle Rowe in his kicking attempt must have completely missed that ball. And hi lads, had to turn down my soundbar after the second try because Mrs. Frank woke up. We'll be watching second half on my mobile phone anyway, gearing up for the cricket match between South Africa versus Australia. Says Damon. Oh, when's that kicking off? Yeah, he's missed that one, Kyle Rowe, so it does just count as the knock-on. 1 second, we'll go like this. It's tonight at 10:30, so we'll actually get to see little updates of that game all throughout. Munster vs Connacht tomorrow night should be good. Says Patrick there. And did you see the super comeback against Pakistan? I did not. Now, I've missed quite a bit of the Women's World Cup. I'm not sure when I'm going to watch it, though, because November's getting more and more busy. Will you be streaming the Japan versus Australia game tomorrow. We certainly will be, as well as that NPC final. I will be scheduling both of those streams pretty much after this one. Oh, both front rows standing up. We are going to have ourselves another scrum reset. I'm going 17 points to 18 in favour of the Bulls. What time will kickoff be in South Africa? Which kickoff you talking, Ethan? And hey says, what's up, guys? Podcast, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. 45 minutes through this game and still 7 points to 5. He's feeling like a low-scoring type of contest. Let's see if a Glasgow prop walks. Well, the thing is, Glasgow may have to be very strategic here, and I think they actually have. They may have taken off both of their starting front rowers so that these two get a little bit more of a warning. Because then, like, they can argue, hey, referee, we've made those adjustments because we felt like, yes, you're right, those guys at the start weren't doing the job. So now we've put new guys in to try and hold their load. And to be fair, that one has worked for the Glasgow Warriors. They have not collapsed under the pressure. Now, big pass on the outside to Trevino Jacobs, who tries to break through, but is tackled again by Sione Tuipolotu. Now we have got their Dragons versus the Ospreys tomorrow. That will be interesting. Says Jeff. Hamish is a Kiwi. Could confirm is a ribbit. The sound frogs make. Is it the same as rabbit said in a Kiwi accent? Not quite. We kind of, I guess you get rab at the start, whereas you get rib. So it's not that different. What was I talking about yesterday? It was something to do with a pronunciation. Oh, people normally say about egg when we say it in New Zealand. We don't quite say it that badly, but we'll say eggs. And apparently that sounds weird. Could be. That one was decent from them, says Yanko. It's going to be another drop ball. Looks like maybe an eye injury here or a head injury for Keegan Johannes. He is staying down. Looked like he was... Perhaps is he trying to milk that, or has he actually taken a bit of a hit? Looking through for the head on head. Looking for the collision. Okay, so the commentators there have pretty much said that Keegan Johannes may be playing this up a little bit. Because they said that he was, or they compared him to a child who didn't want to get out of bed and was throwing a tantrum on the ground. Which is pretty brutal, isn't it? Okay, there's some comedian had a joke with a hotel receptionist in New Zealand. It's talking about the big deck they are built next to their pool, says Yanko. We have got their fingers in his face, says Jimbo there. For the New Zealand game. So yeah, New Zealand game up against Ireland, I believe, will be a 10 p.m. kickoff for you guys. In South Africa, head contact, they couldn't actually find any from the slow motion replay. I didn't really see any either. So I think it might have been when he landed on the ground, someone landed on him, and that's where the collisions happened. But he's all right now, by the looks of it. Now ready for the scrum. This one, Glasgow Warriors feed. So another 34 minutes left in this match. By crikey, says, what's up, guys? Podcast here banging has another meaning, says Ruth. This will be a big scrum. Telling one here for Glasgow. This is their first scrum feed in actually quite some time. A lot of the time they've been defending them. This time they've got one to go on themselves. Enjoy the cloud. Wind past Ruth now going off to the left-hand side. Mackay hardly been involved in this game so far. Gets it out to Kyle Rowe. To the right again. Cummings trying to sneak his way through. Little short pop pass up to Gregor Brun. And George Horn. Left-hand side. Dempsey. Skip pass. Oh, what a steal that is from the Bulls. That is brilliantly brought in. And now breaking the line. Cobus Visa needs support. Found the pass on the inside, but it goes back to Glasgow. End-to-end stuff from these two sides. Can you say that place in New Zealand with the long name? I cannot. It's a very impressive one, but I also can't remember it off by heart. If you compare South Africa rugby with that of the rest of the world, it would be like comparing a person with both kidneys to a person who needs a kidney transplant, says Casper. Well, that's a very humble thing to say, isn't it? With the interception. Says, what's up, guys, podcast. I reckon their row are getting no change from the Bulls. Yeah, see, if that pass had gone over the top, it could have been a very good chance. But Just didn't quite work out. And in the end, the Bulls almost on the counter-attack. All quickly taken by Willie LaRue. Goes to Stravino Jacobs, who's cut down. Hands were down there for Matt Ferguson. He was asking for the penalty. He's probably lucky not to get one against him. Marcel Kutsia, 25 metres out. Short attack and run forward. Offload from de Klerk to Ruanokia. They're not too far out now. What a run that is. Through goes the veteran Willie LaRue. And the Bulls take the lead. He was the man who decided on going quickly, had the vision, had the idea, and now he's executed it, getting them the try. And Willie gets a try for all the critics. Says Yanko there. Yeah, great run from Ruanokia as well in the middle of the field. Almost delicious dance there, so, and there. And then goes to Willie LaRue. I think he had a little realisation there that the in-goal areas are pretty small. And now we just need that conversion, says Stephanie. And it should be nice and easy. Straight out in front of the posts. And it goes over. Bulls now leading by 5 at this stage of the match. His playing times are over, says Yanko there. And also we have there Lekavili, says Ethan. And 12-7, finally a try. And Bulls taking it, says Ethan. And there as well. Cobus Visa. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Why have we got a double blow the whistle here? Okay. Keegan Johannes has gone off. I believe that's actually for an HIA. And Kutli Aronsa now makes his way on for his first game of rugby in quite some time. It's going to be a high-scoring match, says Casper. We have there. Villy will never be over the hill. If you want to be a U, says Martin. His screen is getting blurry, says the What's Up Guys podcast. Well, hopefully it does last for the rest of the live stream. We've got 30 more minutes remaining of the match. So we'll wait and see what does happen there. Keegan Johannes just delaying his kick, making sure that Glasgow almost get themselves in an offside position now. Nice step from Josh Mackay, almost going up the middle. Manages to find another offload to Hastings. Numbers on the outside. Tui Pelotu going for the grubber in behind. It's going to be an awkward one. Kurtley Aronsa cleaning it up. Passes across to Billy LaRue. A lot of pressure on him. LaRue passes it dead. And Glasgow have now a 5-metre scrum. Or do they? I think they're going to be checking. Yes, it's going to be actually a Bulls scrum. It's going to be the Bulls ball because of the knock-on in the tackle from Glasgow. But tell you what, Kurtley Aronsa, all sorts of pressure on that man for his first touch back. You're looking absolutely fabulous. No glasses needed, says Ruth. Johannes dabbing his eye, says Jimbo there. And yeah, Willie LaRue, he tried to pass it back across and yeah, was knocked down in the tackle by Glasgow and Kurtley Aronsa. Says Hano there too. Yeah, just coming off the hand of Stafford McDowell, who's number 17 for Glasgow. Number 17 is Nathan Macbeth. And who do you think is going to be the South Africa team from 1 to 8? We are going to be doing a lineup prediction. So, yeah, when we do that, we'll let you know. Conversation was over. Or conversion was over. Keegan made it. He did indeed, yes. And then he did end up going off the field. That one's gone down in the front. Shows of light striking. Our ref has been perfect so far, says Jimbo. Oh, another scrum reset here between Macbeth and Mornay Smith. Bit of a conversation going on. How much you are better quality than Mega CD? First scrum of the match, says What's Up Guys podcast. It's about the 10th, but the first scrum after another warning here for Glasgow by the sounds of it. Willie never been, will never be over the hill. Does it mean that the hill will always be over Willie LaRue? If you want to be a Bulls supporter, you need to go into surgery. They stretch your mouth, says Martin. Now ready to feed this ball in. I'll be looking for that big push. The Bulls are getting it from the very get-go. There is going to be the advantage popping up. Mornay actually coming up first there, but it was after already some good forward momentum. Keegan Johannes trying to move his way forward. Well, bit of a rough pass there. And they'll go back now for the penalty. Oh, it's going to be the yellow card for Nathan Macbeth. That's a little bit unlucky when you're only 5 metres out from the opposition line. Yes, Smith solved Macbeth now. Says Thuds Racer, yeah, Nathan Macbeth only recently making his way onto the field, and now he is off with the yellow card. Finally, the yellow card for the Warriors. Says Yanko. Yeah, he has said that the next one would be carport decision, front line stayed up. Well, actually, like I said, I actually thought that Mornay Smith was the first guy to pop up. But the problem is because they were going backwards so far, I feel like that's where... You see, Mornay pops up, but they say that he's already out of position, Macbeth there. Oh, yeah, I've got there Nathan Naughty, says Ruth, and also Bulls better take advantage of this yellow, says so, and they certainly could because... that man advantage now. Glasgow are now considered underdogs in this contest because of the yellow. The crowd's starting to get a little bit loud. Warriors 6 is first up. Says Jimbo. When you look at the scoreline here, you think about what opportunities Glasgow had in the first half that they turned down. They consistently went for the corner, and that is something that not just has been used up against the Bulls. They do it all throughout the season. Macbeth went backwards, then angled in, so forced Smith up. Says Studs raising also Hamish. Says try down, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Going off to the left-hand side. Chance out wide. Stravino Jacobs with a little bit of a step. When will you be making that video? Probably on, that's a big collision there. Probably Sunday, Monday maybe. One of those two. But it will be coming out relatively early just because it has to when the Springboks are playing. That one's going to go through. But we need to see if anyone's injured from these games first to know whether or not there's any sort of changes that I'll have to make. And knock, who's there? Villy who? Will you... I don't know what that means. I thought you were saying the Wii U for a second. That used to be a great console. I'm going to the wrestling tonight. Is that AEW? Is that in Australia at the moment? But yeah, hopefully you do end up enjoying it. That's going to be the penalty on the way of the Glasgow Warriors. Any sort of penalty like that is massively beneficial for the home side because that will use up time on this yellow card clock. You see it there. He just stepped back in, and then Kutli Aronsa cleaning the man out past the breakdown, I think, is the penalty. MCW fight to survive. And Villy alive. Says Daniel there too. But now ready to throw it in. Johnny Matthews, Melbourne City Wrestling. Says, try time. Well, if it's anything like the Opera House... I'm sure you end up going to about 500 shows if it is a weekly thing. Now, Johnny Matthews, ready to throw it in again. Oh, that's not straight, but they've said straight enough. Johnny Matthews very close to the sideline, gets wrestled out. So it was the wrong choice. Hamish knows Wii U, but not Mega CD. Hamish must be under 30. You have got that one right. And they're not too happy about that one there, Glasgow. Although we've seen that ball tied up in the drive a few times already. So maybe that was the reasoning behind it, but he just ran out of space. And to be fair, he actually almost kept that ball in from that other angle. I think they're just, the commentators are saying maybe he actually got rid of that ball as well before he went into touch. But it will be play on. Bulls too strong in defence, says Jimbo, which is massively beneficial for them for the season. This one's now moving forward. I know, being told it's gone backwards once. Still moving. Johan Robela. The big run towards Adam Hastings. Now pick and go from Yandre Rudolph. Starting to get a little bit more involved throughout the second half. Big chopping tackle there. Johnny Matthews told to get out of it. A little bit of a counter-ruck. Harold Foster has to play half tackle. Robela looked a bit high. Sees Yanko there too. Now Villy LaRue. Can't quite get through a gap before he is tackled by Matthews again, who's just trying to get into every single breakdown at this point in time. Now off to the left, and Brosbapia goes to Kobus Visa. Kudli Aronsa, first touch for him, tries to sit down the opposition in Hastings. You think Habana can still play 15 minutes at this level? I think if Habana was in the 7 setup for the blitz box, he'd actually go all right. But I don't think he wants to. I think he's happy with that ambassador role at the moment. LaRue kicking it high, chasing after this is Stravino Jacobs, 2 men going up for it, beautifully taken by Kyle Stain with a step as well to go with it. Yandre Rudolph, he's done brilliantly to be able to steal that ball, somehow staying on his feet. And the crowd not happy about it. It was very close to being in off the feet, but I think he somehow managed to balance himself on the ball. Now, Willie le Roux slinging pass off to the right-hand side. Little step from Richard Creel, where he's dragged down by Rowe. Bulls seem to light up. We need points for it to count. Little grubber attempted, and that's just given the ball straight back to the Glasgow Warriors. Jack Dempsey, now pass option on the outside, cutting back inwards first. It was not through the gate for Sebastian de Klerk, and the ref once again gets a bit of stick from the crowd. Now George Horn, rolling this one back again. Once again, Hamish top commentary, thank you. Ma'anonu's still going in France. He's just a tank, isn't he? Ma'anonu, the fact that he is still going after all of these years, that one looked like it may have gone forward off Kyle Rowe, but it is going to be play on for the Glasgow Warriors. Johnny Matthews popping it back across. Our Warriors look tired already, says Jimbo. Yeah, it just seems very heavy underfoot at the moment for them, doesn't it? And then in the breakdowns, that's where we're seeing the Bulls really starting to get some work going throughout the second half. Why did you make the All Blacks video so early, though? That wasn't for any particular match. That was just a lineup in general about who I felt was the best team for the ABs. It's going to be the advantage and the penalty going the way of Glasgow. I was considering doing one for the Box as well, but it got to the point how we're that close to when they'll actually announce their side that I might as well just do their Japanese lineup. But yeah, that wasn't actually a video specifically for the Irish match. Wasn't a prediction. Wasn't what I would go with up against Ireland. Although it's pretty close to what I'd have up against the Irish, to be fair. Warriors or the Bulls. So I went Glasgow by 7, but I'm normally very wrong. So there's a chance that because I said that Glasgow would win, that the Bulls will in this case. As Ma'anono afford, no, he's still slotted in the back line. A little bit bulkier than he used to be, but still seems to have that vision. We have got there, you're doing well there. Thanks, Friday Night Highlight. And also we've got there the Bulls winning ball in the middle of the park, but not plugging corners weird. Are you surprised with the English squad? I mean, a little bit, but at the same time, you can see what they're doing a little bit, if that makes sense. But there's going to be some very intriguing games throughout November. Oh, nicely claimed there. And now breaking off the back, Glasgow Warriors. New Zealand, England's going to be a very interesting one. Oh, 8 told to get out of it for Iandre Rudolph. Now Johan Robillard looking for that steal as well. So every single breakdown at the moment, the Bulls have one guy going in and then trying to get that steal. Villy needs to set up one of those kicks to the left corner to see a breakthrough there, says Sue. Going back across. Quick hands from the Glasgow Warriors. That is what they normally do best. Johnny Matthews, though, shut down on the outside by Seb de Klerk. A big collision. Dempsey on Ruanokia. Gets back up as he wasn't held. And has another crack now 25 metres out from the line. George Horn back across the crowd. Starting to get behind the Warriors. But the ball has been stripped. Then knocked on by the Bulls. But it's called as play on. Willie le Roux. Now down the wing, they may have dodged a little bit of a bullet there. Little chipper behind. Curtly Arendse passes back to le Roux. If that knock-on has been cleared, they may just score it here, and it's Curtly Arendse in his return game. Has the try awarded. I bet getting tackled by Mata ain't fun. I think France is going to win this. Arrogant says, Ethan, it will be a close game. To be fair, right? I think someone just had a little bit of a chat there with the referee. Okay, they are checking it here to see whether or not Ruanokia knocked that ball on. Can't beat brain, says Jumbo. Yeah, Willie le Roux, you know, he just keeps on proving the naysayers wrong. He didn't quite have the pace for the corner, but he did have Curtly Arendse on the inside to be able to help him out. Time is off. They're checking the knock-on. It was a knock-on, but it's just going to be a frustrating one that they let it run for so long and that the Bulls got themselves a try from it. They're going to have a look from it, though. And Villiers on fire, says Ruth. French have a lot of youngsters in their squad. Ramos will be back soon. He has a baby with his partner, says Tiger 11. Yeah, they are checking this one upstairs. To me, at live viewing, it was a knock-on from Curtly Arendse. Oh, sorry, not from Curtly Arendse, from Ruanokia. Oh, no. They're checking for a croc roll. No, here it is. Chance here. Rua Nokia went for the ball. Knocked out of his hands by Gerhard Stennekamp. So it is a knock on, I believe. Much more exciting this half. Go the Bulls. And yeah, they're showing the replay now. So it's going to be a disallowed try. Knock on there. Gerhard Stennekamp actually getting involved and trying to grab that ball, but Rua Nokia already had it. So it is no try. Way down the field they are going to be going. 9-weight. Can you explain to me how the try happened? So pretty much it was the break down the wing. Willie LaRue went for the chip in behind. Aronsa took it, passed it back to LaRue, ran down the wing more, and then popped it back on the inside. But it's all disallowed because of the knock-on. Disappointing that the try won't stand. But that run from Willie was still pure class, says Yanko. Boo says Aino there. Yeah, like I said, it's the right decision, but it's unfortunate that they let that move happen beforehand because it was literally right in front of the ref. What are y'all watching it on URC TV for us here in New Zealand is the only option. But I think it's on DSTV. I want to say there's a couple other options up north too. Willie could have had a hat-trick and Bugger LaRue fire extinguished. Says Studs Race. The ref doesn't want to see nice tries. Says I know, and also nothing surprising. I like the Bulls. Like they've said, Willie LaRue just having a few deep breaths at the moment. That was a brutal run to go down the wing. We have got there, what are the fly holes? Or what are the fly halves, I assume that is, be available for the South Africans in the first test. We have Andre Pollard, Mani Libok, and Sasha Feinberg and Ngme Zulu, as long as they all avoid injuries before then. Now we have got there, they've had to take a winger off for the scrum. Says Yanko. And it should be ball scrum though. The first knock on was from Glasgow. So yeah, so they've called it as a strip, that first rip from Yandre Rudolph. Which is why they've given it as a Glasgow scrum rather than the scrum to the Bulls. But yeah, it was close to... It all depends on how they rule it, really, because they say sometimes that a strip is not a knock on. But then others say, yes, it is. And Flo here in the USA. Now ready to put this ball in. On off to the left-hand side. Now passed on the outside, chance here. How's the way you say Gerhard Stennekamp makes it, it sounds like you can't get a Ford truck into gear. Yeah. See, I've been corrected about how to say his first name because I used to say Gerhard, but that's wrong. It is Gerhard, isn't it? Now sitting about 10 metres out from the line, Glasgow shoveling it on. Chance here, Coro. Oh, that's head on head. That could be ugly. And maybe a yellow card for one of the Bulls players, but hopefully the change of direction will just rule it as a penalty at most. In fact, it's not even an advantage. At this stage, it is an advantage, though, for something else against the Bulls. 5 metres out from the line, Glasgow. They've got a man disadvantage. As the score 17-7, it isn't. It is actually 12-7. Hopefully, there we go. Has gone back to the right place. What's up, bro? Says Crypto. Welcome in. Now pass on the outside. Glasgow still the 10 metres out. I don't stress too much about the H in Gerald. I just say Gerard. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Oh, passed on the outside to Ipolotti. Look for his winger. He forgot that he got taken off the field. But now, 10 metres out from the line. Glasgow, they've turned down a lot of three-pointers all throughout this one. Okay. Last warning there for the Bulls and Rua Nokia. Referee said there were too many in a row there. Come on, defence, says Yako. This is now a big chance for Glasgow, and I believe they will almost be back to the full 15 men on the field. I'm going camping today, Hamish, says Ollie is the best. Well, hopefully you do have a lot of fun. I haven't been camping in a long time. I think school camps were probably the last time that I've been properly camping. Do you lads from New Zealand? I prefer league or union. Depends on who you talk to. League's been growing quite a bit here in New Zealand. Rugby union slowly, the numbers are slightly declining compared to where they were. I think it's just down to the fact that so many other sports are becoming quite popular. Very quick for a warning. Says, hey, no there, and the URC is not fun to watch anymore. When it's placed in Europe, the refs go back to the start whistle to disallow tries, and the crowds They boot every reply to milk cards and penalty from the ref, says Francois. Now rolling maul here. Johnny Matthews, he's gone down just the 2 or 3 metres out. It's a penalty try and a yellow card will be awarded against the Bulls here as Glasgow take the lead back in the final quarter of the game. I want KC, says Albert. And what are your thoughts on the Jan Hendrik Vessel's 9-game ban? Was there sufficient evidence? I don't think so. I think that it's a bit of a weird one. I did not expect this. All kicked off now already by the Bulls. They're trying to get the game back underway. Referee has said, after a little bit of push and shove, that we do have to go back here. Your pronunciation is cruisy, says Stephanie. Thank you very much. Oh, more push and shove there. Yandre Rudolph trying to find about 7 guys to fight. I'll be going to the Lions game tomorrow. WF is happening on the field. Yeah, they've lost all sorts of control here. So the penalty try was awarded. So then from there, I believe that they tried to take it quickly, the Bulls. I don't understand these rules, but I know league, says Lucas. And yeah, league can be a lot easier to understand. Like, we are going to be covering the match on Sunday between Tonga and Samoa. We did the match between Samoa and New Zealand on last week's weekend. It was a thoroughly entertaining game. We look at there, Francois, like the Rugby World Cup 2023 final. Ooh. And the Glasgow Warriors are back in the game, says the What's It Guys podcast. They certainly are, and they are back to having 15 men on the field as well. And just sub bro, says Lucas K. It is greatly appreciated. And yeah, we have got a little bit of league coming up in the future as well, if that is something that you do follow closely. I know that there is the equivalent of the Ashes in rugby league between Australia and England. I think is it this weekend or next weekend that's going to be taking place? I think it's this weekend, the first match. Now, big run from Dempsey. He smacked hard from the side from Yandre Rudolph, who's hurt himself. Oh, he may have broken his arm there, Yandre Rudolph. He does not look happy at the moment. Opposite for me, I only know Union. Whenever I see league clip, it confuses the hell out of me. Even the jersey numbers are all wrong, says Yanko. And also, we have got there Anas is Bas on Loftus. And also, we've got there, that's for all the memories and Auntie Hamish says, cool story. That's tomorrow for England Kangaroos. And a penalty again goes the way of Glasgow. No yellow. Our ref gave a final warning, gives penalty try, then doesn't penalise the player. Did he not go a yellow card there? If he didn't, that's thoroughly surprising, because I thought that they would have. Maybe they just haven't put it up on the screen. Maybe it happened during the time. Because I see one guy sitting on a seat there, but that might be a guy off the bench. Yeah, just like that, I guess. When you never win anything big, you have to celebrate everything else. Says Francois, I hate penalties. Says, what's up, guys? But yeah, Yandre Rudolph, he's either hurt his shoulder or his arm, but it looked like it was dangling a little bit. Love both Union and League. Luckily, League has an off-season. Says Studs Race. Do you know all the Springbok players' names? I know who's in the squad. I don't know, of course, every South African rugby player at the moment. Ouchie's in pain. Says Jimbo. And yeah, just looked like from making the tackle. Yeah, now there is a yellow card. It was, I want to say that's Francois Klopper. Yeah, it is. They've just shown it up. So yeah, there was a yellow card. It was just because they tried to take the quick kickoff that they missed it in terms of the angle of showing it. I think someone grabbed his testicles. Says Albert there. Now, currently 14 minutes. The league is mad. I'm from Melbourne. No one likes rugby here. I've been getting into it about the last year, says Lucas. So yeah, we are going to be doing that game later on tonight between Australia and Japan. That one will be kicking off from Melbourne. I think that'll be a 4:50 p.m. kickoff for you. If you want to watch England versus Kangaroos, kickoff is 2:30. Yeah, sadly, it does overlap with a game of the URC. In fact, it overlaps with 2 games. So sadly, we won't be able to do it on the channel. How long had Klopper been on the field? Must have missed him coming on. Yeah, not very long at all. Maybe like a couple minutes. And 6 says Lucas K. But yeah, we'll also have those updates of the league game happening alongside it. I'll do like a split screen. I'm honestly just annoyed watching URC because I know our teams will smash them if all our players could just remain in the country and play for the clubs. Says Francois. Yeah, I'll be honest, like URC, you look through at someone like the Sharks, and I can't imagine being a Sharks supporter in terms of the frustration that must be going through like the minds with watching, 13 Springboks take to a field and lose at home. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think as long as they're in the top 8 for these South African sides, they'll have a very good chance of, getting towards that URC title. Another big rolling ball here, but Johnny Matthews, currently 2 tries have been scored for each of these sides. This maul is still moving, and they cannot afford to drag it down here, the Bulls, or else they could find themselves going to the bin again. Now a little step there from George Horn as he is nailed by Nabakaba. Who do you go for? I actually don't really have a team, believe it or not. We've covered that many games on the channel that I've gotten used to calling games down the middle. So, yeah, we'll mainly cover, in terms of, URC games, we cover the South African sides just because we do kind of the international videos as well. And then for New Zealand, we've got a bit of NPC later on. And why does URC have New Zealand teams? Or why doesn't? Because of Super Rugby, I think, is the main reason. And because of the overlaps in regards to that. And yet the Sharks are the exception. So here's Albert. Now off to the right-hand side. Chance again. Horn goes to Sam Talakai. 13 minutes remaining in this contest. Still plenty of time for both of these sides. Looking for the steal and the breakdown. Paul DeVette told to get out of it. The ex-Stormers man, Matt Fagerson. Pick and go around the side of the breakdown. 7 metres out from the line for the Warriors. The crowd starting to get a little bit louder now as well. Did the Bulls get a yellow? They did. Francois Klopper sent to the bin and will be off for another 5, maybe 7 or so minutes. Now Horn. Back across to the left-hand side again. Sione Tuipolota with the no-look pass. Goes to Hastings. Stain just overran it a little bit and another penalty is awarded. Okay, they're going to go back for the original one. Now, there was a warning that the last... Oh, okay, I think because there was already a yellow card, they're not going to get another one just yet. Sharks might have 13 bucks, but not the same coaches. The game plan is different style. Says Eugene. And then you have the Lions, with which most players, or most teams, poach their players. And Sharks, I have no clue what's going on there. And also, I'm looking forward to the NPC final. I know many want Otago to win, but I will give it to Canterbury. Says so. Bulls discipline is gone. Glasgow pressure hitting them now. Says studs raised there too. Right. Time has been turned off. It just looks like a big fight. It's about to break out in this match. Yeah, both sides seem like they don't really like each other too much. And Bulls discipline is gone. Glasgow pressure hitting them now. And they must kick for the corner, and that is exactly what they have done. They'll be about 7 metres out from the line with Johnny Matthews and the ball in his hands. Bulls, wow. Bulls are now considered as, they were $16 underdogs for a second there, and that is before we have seen any sort of try here from Glasgow. But of course, if there is a try now, that may just about seal this game. They're getting work towards the sideline. About 9 players in for the Glasgow rolling maul. Told to use it once. Johnny Matthews breaking off the back. Ball is still there for the Bulls. For Glasgow. Well done, Glasgow at last. Says Sean. Now Gregor Brown getting a little bit closer. Dempsey 2 metres out. They've been told to release it. They've been told to let it go out the back too. The Bulls are the defending champions. Says the What's Up Guys podcast. Gone off to the right-hand side. Well, defending champions of what? They did lose the final last time. We have Gadets coming home today. Says Dargo will win the NPC, and also they must kick for the corner. Oh, that was a big clean out on Gerard Stennekamp. Now around the side of the breakdown again. 2 metres out from the line. Looks like a lot of fatigued bodies out there. Pick and go, and they're over the line. Glasgow score it, and it's Matt Fagerson. In fact, it is Nathan Macbeth who does go in and get himself the try. Is that water wet, Mr. Kiwi Sir? It certainly is. And it was lovely indeed. And defending champs, losing in our finals maybe, says Francois, but that could be the try that determines this game. If they get this conversion over, they'll be stepping a lot closer towards that one. Bulls are defending runner-ups, aren't they? They are the defending runner-ups. Yep, they did lose to Leinster in the final last URC season. And yay again, Bully Beef Stew, says Sean. And a 7 out of 10 for Afrikaans pronunciation. And Ackerman has not slotted in as expected. Much like Razor, time is not on their side, says Anthony. That kick has gone over though, adding the 2, making the score now 21 points to 12 in favour of the Glasgow Warriors. And they are now in the position where if they score one more try, they put themselves in a very good spot, because that will be a bonus point. They get the full 5. You know who are the defending runner-ups? The Hurricanes. This is What's Up Guys podcast, and Glasgow celebrating like they won a World Cup. So here's Albert there. Nicely taken. Duncan has made his way onto the field. That is for Brun, who has made his way off. You step away from 5 minutes and everything has gone to hell, says Yanko. Yeah, yellow card and a try. In fact, yellow card and 2 tries have been conceded recently. Glasgow having to clean that ball up after it was a little bit loose, but now George Horn, piercing run now. Nice step from Stafford McDowell. Starting to make a few more easy meters, although another cover almost onto that ball. They had us believing for a second, says Sue. Passed on the outside. Yeah, it was right there for the taking for the Bulls, but just letting it slip through those fingertips. Currently, they are considered as huge underdogs, so are Saracens at this point in time. They must be very close to the end of that game in the Premiership. Nice take from Kutli Arinsa. He will not want to have his first game back in a Bulls kit be a loss. And come on, Glasgow, another try, says Sean. And I don't get why the Bulls not using any tactical kicking, winning centrally located ball, just running it all the time. And if I could turn back time, I'd bring the the Super 14 back. What good time, says Francois. Yeah, it seems like such a long time ago that was the competition, doesn't it? We have got there, why am I fighting the sleep? I'm not even a Bulls fan. Good night, says SC Jones. So we will see you possibly tomorrow for more URC action, as well as the international between Australia and Japan, and also NPC final coming along as well. We will be covering them all on the channel. Billy LaRue trying to pierce through the line. Oh, hard landing there for Matt Ferguson. Another step. Paul DeVitt goes to Sebastian de Klerk, who just knocks it on. The worst possible time there. Bulls unfortunately has no plan to fix this game. And Bulls played so well until now, they're throwing this game away. And to be fair, a converted try and a penalty is all it would take. Not impossible in 10 minutes. That is true. Like, clock is going very quick is the only thing. Now down to 7 minutes remaining here. All right, sounds like a substitution just about to be made. And also Stedman Khans has made his way on. And also we've got there the Lions, all the Wellington Lions are now the defending runner-ups. This is the What's Up Guys podcast. That was a big yawn. Mornay Smith just about to make his way back out onto the field. Okay, they're just checking to see if the yellow card is back yet, and it doesn't sound like it. Warriors on the multi. So here's Lucas K. Oh, okay, so it's going to be Marcel Kutsia to make his way off the field. Also, Yanaki is on. That is for Stenechamp, and also Hrobala has made his way off, and that is for Juan Else. And I guess I did jinx it when I said South Africa teams finish stronger than they start. Says Yanko. Sebastian Clerk and Kutli Arinsa are more than capable of turning this around. Need Villy to spark them. And Glasgow Warriors too strong for the Bulls. Glasgow no walkover. I don't see them giving up this lead. The Bulls had a chance sealed by now. Now ready to put this ball in for the Glasgow Warriors. Now only the 6.5, in fact 5.5 minutes remaining. Every time that there is a stoppage of some sort, it will use up that little bit more off the clock. We have got a donation from Anton as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. I believe that is €1. If I am correct, there's a new advantage in favour now of the Glasgow Warriors as well. Horn with the pass on the outside. Kyle Stain. It was a bit of an awkward one. However, there Northampton 31 with 75 minutes gone. Macbeth, excellent scrum. Did your job there. Or did a job there, says Studs Race. Now Hastings goes back across to Matt Ferguson. Unfortunately, the Bulls have played the rest of this game outside of the maybe first 60 minutes. This final 20, they have just been enjoying giving away penalty advantages time and time again. It's led to a yellow card in one instance for the penalty try. Now another step there. The Warriors chasing that bonus point though. They do need one more to be able to confirm it. There is going to be the penalty. However, their Bulls played well. The game was a 50-50 until the disallowed try, says Dean there. And also, we're there, what silly billies, and I have to work tomorrow from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. I thought to myself how nice it is, and that I can at least watch the Bulls tonight. But now I wish I was working tonight as well, says Francois. And also, the Bulls dominated for long periods after Glasgow's first try, says Lucas K. And come on, the Bulls, says LFG. Looks like a bit of an injury here for Richard Creel, which is not good news if Keegan Johannes has gone off, because Creel is actually the kicking option at this stage. UFC are some of the worst refs, says LB, and also the ones that get me is when they get carded right at the end of the game. They were losing anyway. Says Big Rig, and it looks like Glasgow have opted for the far side penalty, which means that they can kick this ball into touch, maybe about 7 metres out from the try line. In fact, a bit further than that, actually about 12 metres out. In that case, 4 minutes left. We have got their last 15 minutes. It's just a different game to the first 60. Warriors class, says Suds Race. Yeah, they're fully taking control of this game. And the Bulls, a side that normally do finish quite well, haven't been able to find their stride. And when those penalties are crept in, they must go for the corner, and that is exactly what they have done here. The Glasgow Warriors, nicely taken in the line out. Very frustrating Bulls had this game. It's claimed by Alex Samuel. Now George Horn, looks like he's going to be playing a majority of this game, if not all of it. 3 minutes left on the clock now. Another step from Tuipulotu going sideways, not really forwards in that case for Glasgow. And Northampton 43, Saracens 31, so they must have got more points, did they, Northampton? In that case, maybe another try. And that disallowed try broke the Bulls' spirit. It's also the last time that we've actually seen Willie Leroux almost touch the ball in this game. It just seems like the possession stat has completely switched ever since that moment. But now going back across, George Horn going to Jack Dempsey. Now Horn again, going across to Alex Samuel, still 10 metres out. Glasgow chasing the 5 points. They haven't quite been able to get it yet. Run from Alex Craig. Oh, told to give that ball back in the breakdown. Another penalty going against... Oh, that was Francois Klopper. He's only just made his way back from the bin. And he's probably very lucky not to get a card there again. Bulls are tied now and the forwards can't get their hands on the ball. Yeah, it's just changed, hasn't it? In terms of the possession, just completely swung. Looks like Adam Hastings, he's going to be kicking this one towards the corner, so not actually opting for the scrum choice here, even though they are in the middle of the field. Willie has been limping for 10 minutes. Is that why we haven't seen too much of him in recent times? Yep, could have been a card, says Studs Rays, and Bulls need some rugby players. Says Martin, the ref was fair. I have no complaints against him, but the Bulls just gave up. Says so. Yeah, they haven't quite been that same like massive amount, I guess you could say. Was that a sentence? I don't know if it was. Or not straight from the Glasgow Warriors. I'll say it, they should have gone for the scrum. I know that it's easy to say that now that it's gone wrong, but I feel like the scrum in the middle of the field, like their scrum hasn't been going badly lately, so that would have been a decent chance. I missed the whole game. Give me an interview. Says LB. And a ref gave it to Glasgow. Is that because of that disallowed try? Because it was a knock-on. We did call it at the time before they did the big breakaway. Apologies if I go on a bit of a rant. This is pathetic. I haven't played rugby at all. The game plan was just to defend and go for the counter-attack. We had the ball stupid. Says Haino. I really need to get into this. I know all AFL and most NRL. Barely know players in Union. Says Lucas. But yeah, I'd thoroughly recommend it. We're getting closer to the World Cup as well. It's taking place in 2027, which sounds a wee way away. But the draw for the World Cup taking place at the end of this year. Our referee keeps missing high shots by Glasgow. Says Buxton. And also we have their Bulls are walking like cows. And I know they were winning most of the game. Says Big Rig. And also we have got their Glasgow constantly offsides. Says Buxton as well. But now told to keep it up. Scrum is solid. It's a big push there from the Bulls. Now Richard Creel passes across to Kurt Liarense, trying to cut through, but again, Sione Tuipulotu, for me, he's almost man of the match. And I know that he's one that some people probably wouldn't say, but his defense throughout this whole game has been phenomenal. The amount of times that he has shut down a breakaway chance just with that solid tackle is absolutely huge. Stedman Hans now. Another tackle made, can't Glasgow just have been the better team without blaming the ref. Says Flesham, referee doesn't look at Glasgow offsides. Says Buxton, and that is going to be another mistake. It's going to be a scrum going the way of Glasgow with just the 2 seconds remaining. Some destruction there, says Studs Rays. Oh, okay, bit of an argument starting there by the sounds of it. They are just showing the knock on there. Yeah, so that's a bold comment from Ruan Nokia. He has said there to the referee, how can they play the 9 but we can't? which is a brave insinuation to make at this stage of a game. And no, says Yako. And there too, but now chance here for Glasgow. They have got 3 tries at the moment. One more would give them 5 points from this game rather than the 4. That would be best case, really, scenario for this Glasgow Warriors side. At the moment, though, a 9-point lead. The prediction of winning by 7 is not looking a mile off, though. Now going off to the right-hand side here for Glasgow. Now, the thing is, the Bulls can also still get himself the opportunity. He's not wrong. Those refs have been biased against South Africa teams forever. So here's LB. Oh, was that a knock-on? No, it's gone backwards. And another try. There's Sean. Off to the left-hand side again. A bit of a spin, no advantage there. Some nice stepping from Stephen. How much time left? We are at 80 minutes at this stage. So once there is a stoppage, it will be the end of the game. Cutting back in with Kyle Rowe. Bulls on the road for a month and have done very well. Should be congratulating them instead of knocking the ref. See you, Jimbo, and thank you, Hamish. See you at the NPC final. That is the plan. So I'm going to be scheduling it. There is a chance I may be slightly late, because our T20 starts at 1 p.m. and there is a chance that it will go right through to about 4. But I'm going to try my absolute best to be here for the kickoff of that game. Oh, loose ball. Push off the ball from Billy LaRue. And that is going to end the game. 12 points to 21. The win for the Glasgow Warriors at home. They'll be happy enough. They stopped the Bulls from getting a bonus. They didn't get a bonus themselves, but it's still 4 very crucial points at this stage of the season. Our bench is terrible. We take off Copa's Visa and we fall apart, except our scrums. What are we good at? Johan Ackerman needs to give some structure. I hope in this next break we fix up. And thanks, I'll forgive you if you're late. Says starts race. But yeah, if you are in the comments or in the chat right when it is starting and you're like, okay, you see people saying he's still not here, it'd be great if you could just tell them he's probably driving home as we speak. But I got to win Glasgow. Says Sean, and also I can see the end of the year test going to be a circus with bad ref calls destroying it. Says Albert. And also we have got there Dan Still the Goat. Says Dan there too. And bring back Jake. Says Bruce. But yeah, nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Any idea on Honeycomb? Nothing yet. But hopefully early next year is when we will see that man coming back. But he won't be there for the November International. Cheers for the watch along, lad. No worries at all. And yeah, greatly appreciated you sticking around. Sorry I did not see a problem with the ref. I'm a Bulls fan through and through. Says so, and see you tomorrow, says Pleasure. And there as well. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. And I will see you all for the next one.